Imagine you have a big secret. Now imagine that you have told the whole world that your life is like a fairy tale, but some people think you are making it all up. Imagine if a judge told you that you had to open every drawer in your house, show every private letter you ever wrote, and let strangers look at your most private doctor's notes just to prove you are telling the truth. If you did not show them, you would lose millions of dollars, and your children might lose their special royal titles forever. This is not a movie. This is not a storybook. This is what is happening right now to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They started a fight in court to stop people from saying mean things about them. But instead of stopping the rumors, they might have accidentally opened a door that they can never close again. They are standing at the edge of a giant cliff and the clock is ticking. This is a story about secrets, big court rules, and a royal family that is tired of playing nice. If you want to know what happens when the most famous couple in the world gets caught in their own trap, you need to hear this. I think that Harry and Meghan have written some very interesting stories that are not actually true. A very important paper changed everything, and it did not come through a computer or a secret whisper. It was carried by hand. A secret folder was walked right into the London High Court on March 17, 2026. The very second it touched the clerk's desk, a timer started for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is a story about what happens when you try to use the law like a sword, only to find out the law can turn around and poke you back. Stay with us because what you're going to hear is not just a guess. This is not a silly story from a grocery store magazine. This is the real, court-proven falling apart of the biggest royal mess anyone can remember. And it all starts with two people who have been bothering Meghan Markle for a long time. Their names are Lady Colin Campbell and Tom Bower. Before we go any further, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that famous people who talk about their private lives to get attention should have to be totally honest with everyone? Tell me what you think in the comments right now. This question is the most important part of everything that is happening in that courtroom today. This is the big explosion that started a giant war. Lady Colin Campbell is not a lady who talks quietly. She has spent many years saying things very loudly that the royal family would rather keep hidden under a rug. She has written many books about the royals that made the people working at the palace feel very nervous. She has been on TV and stood in front of her big castle in Scotland looking right into the camera. She looks calm because she knows exactly what she is talking about, and she is not scared of what might happen next. When Lady C started saying things about how Prince Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, were born, the whole world got into a big argument. Half of the people thought she was just making up crazy stories. The other half of the people listened very closely to what she had to say. At the same time, a man named Tom Bower was looking into the same thing. He's a famous writer who writes books about people's lives after doing lots of research. His book about Meghan Markle made people in the royal offices and in Harry's home in California very upset. His team was very careful and worked in 2 different parts of the world. They spent 242 days quietly going to hospitals, looking at records that anyone is allowed to see and trying to find the path of papers that should be there. Usually when a baby is born, there are lots of papers that are very easy to find. They looked at Portland Hospital in London and Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in California. These are 2 very fancy places where the Sussex family had their most private moments. But what Mr. Bower's team found, or more importantly, what they could not find, became the start of a very big problem. It was so big that someone was bound to tell a judge about it. To put it simply, they are saying that the normal papers every royal baby must have are either missing, do not match up, or look very strange. This is a big deal because of British royal rules. There is a rule about being born of the body. This is a very old rule that says a child must be born to the mother in a specific way to be allowed to be a king or queen one day. Now let's stop for a second. We are not here to say who is right or who is wrong. That is not our job, and it is not your job either. Not yet anyway. That is the job of the High Court in London. What we are doing today is telling you exactly what is happening because of these claims. We are going to explain why Meghan Markle's choice to sue these writers might be the biggest mistake she has ever made. It might be a total disaster for her family's history. Most news shows are missing the most important part. The lawsuit is not a weapon for Meghan to use anymore. The lawsuit has turned into a trap, and Meghan walked right into the middle of it without even knowing. When the lawyers for Harry and Meghan said they were going to sue Lady Colin Campbell and Tom Bower for saying things that were not true, everyone had a different opinion. Some people thought it was a brave thing to do. Others thought they should have done it a long time ago. But a few very smart legal experts, the ones who really understand how courts work in England, saw it as a giant mistake. They knew that the consequences would be very bad, and we are seeing those bad things happen right now. Here is the reason why. In the United Kingdom, when you sue someone for lying about you, you give that person a very special power called discovery. Discovery is a big word that means the other person's lawyers get to go on a giant treasure hunt for the truth. They get to ask for all kinds of private papers. They can force people to show them emails and texts. They can call people to court and make them tell the truth. They can put doctors and nurses in a chair and make them promise to tell the truth under a very serious rule called perjury. Perjury means if you lie in court, you can go to jail. You cannot sue someone for lying and then say no when the court asks to see your private papers. That is not how the rules work at all. As soon as Meghan's lawyers gave those papers to the court, Lady C's lawyers started making a giant list of things they wanted to see. This list is 122 pages long. This giant list of demands was given to Harry and Meghan's legal team. It asks for papers and records that Harry and Meghan have never had to show to the public before. On top of that, there's a huge amount of money at risk. If they lose, they might have to pay $10,458,000. That is a giant pile of money hanging over their heads like a dark rain cloud. But the money is not even the most important part of the story. The real story is about what the judge is allowed to ask for now. Think about that. Lady Colin Campbell stood outside her house looking very happy. She said 3 simple words, "Let him sue me." Those words are scary because they mean she wanted the door to open. She has been waiting for this moment, and Harry and Meghan gave it to her. We need to talk about what discovery really means in this case. This is very serious, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for the whole British royal family. There is a law that has been around for hundreds of years. It says that anyone who wants to be in line for the throne must be born of the body. This is not just a polite suggestion. It is a very strict rule that tells the world who can be the king or queen. There is a very old paper called the Act of Settlement from the year 1701. Even though it is 300 years old, it is still the law today. It is just as important now as it was back then. Right now, little Archie is 5th in line to be the king. Little Lilibet is 6th in line. If the court finds medical papers that make people wonder if they were born the right way, everything changes. This is still just a guess right now, but if it is true, it would be a huge deal in history. It would change the whole list of who gets to be the next king or queen. The High Court has already said that 3 very important doctors have to come and talk. These are doctors who were in London in 2018 when Archie was born. They have to tell the truth or they will be in big trouble with the law. At exactly 4:15 in the afternoon on March 17, that 122-page list of demands was handed over. By 7:05 that evening, Harry and Meghan's lawyers tried to stop it. They asked for more time, but the judge said no. The judge only used 2 words to say no, and it was a very big blow to Harry and Meghan. Now their lawyers only have 96 hours to show the court the real, original birth papers for both children. The court has also found 4,862 pages of secret doctor notes and messages. If Harry and Meghan do not follow the rules by the deadline, all those secret pages will be shown to everyone. Can you imagine how big that is? Almost 5,000 pages of secrets could become public in just a few days. Tell us what you think in the comments. Do you think Harry and Meghan knew this would happen when they started the lawsuit? Type yes or no right now. We want to see what you think. While Harry and Meghan are dealing with this in California, the royal family back in England is acting very differently. They are being very quiet and very cold. Let's talk about Princess Anne first. She is the king's sister and she is very popular. About 70% of people in England like her and trust her. She works harder than almost anyone else in the family. Even when she was hurt and had a bump on her head in 2024, she still did 217 official jobs. She believes that doing your duty is the most important thing. King Charles picked her to send a final message to Harry and Meghan. That message was very clear. Princess Anne had a meeting at her house called Gatcombe Park. The meeting lasted exactly 48 minutes. The people there said it felt like everything was finished. There was no yelling or crying. Princess Anne was very calm because she had already made up her mind. She thinks that Harry has always known the rules of being a royal. She thinks that since Harry and Meghan chose to go to Hollywood and make shows for Netflix and Spotify, they cannot complain now. They chose to be famous in a way where everyone looks at their lives. They cannot be upset when a court asks for the truth. They traded their privacy for fame and money, and now they have to pay the price. One person at the meeting asked Princess Anne about the high cost of the lawyers. Her answer was very sharp. She said they would not be allowed to send even one bill to the king. She said the time when the king paid for everything ended the second they flew away to Los Angeles. This means the palace is not going to help them. They are not going to call the court to make the problem go away. Princess Anne has made sure that Harry cannot use any of the royal money to pay for this fight. Harry has to pay for this whole legal war with his own money, and as every hour passes, the cost is getting much higher. We also have to talk about King Charles. He is the person in the middle of all this. He is facing some health problems right now, and he has made some very big decisions. People close to him say these are his final wishes for the royal family. These are not just ideas, they're very serious plans. He told Princess Anne exactly what to do to make sure the royal family stays strong and safe. The first part of his plan is about Queen Camilla. He wants to make sure she is safe and has a place to live no matter what happens. He bought a very big house for her that cost about $3,800,000. Prince William even signed a paper promising to protect her. The second part of the plan is the one that really surprised everyone. The king gave Prince William the power to decide Harry's future. William now gets to say if Harry can ever come back to the royal family or if he is gone forever. This is a very big power to give to one brother over another. It shows that the king is very tired of the fighting. In return, William promised to take care of Queen Camilla for the rest of her life. This is hard for William because he still misses his mother, Princess Diana, but he is doing it for the king and for the family. The third part of the plan is very sad. The king really wants to see his grandchildren Archie and Lilibet one last time. He sent 3 letters written by hand over the last few months, but sources say he got no answer from Harry and Meghan. Meghan reportedly said she will not bring the children back to England because she thinks it is a bad environment. It is very sad to think of a grandfather who is so far away from his grandchildren and cannot see them because of a family argument. And now, those same children are in the middle of a big court problem that might take away their titles. The lawyers for Harry and Meghan know that they are in a very tough spot. In their big house in California, everyone is very stressed out. People say Harry is very nervous. He realizes that the lawsuit he started is now the thing that might ruin everything. Meghan is working very hard with her lawyers because they see the danger. They have 2 choices and neither one is very good. Option 1 is to give the court the papers they asked for. They could show the real medical records. If the records show that everything Harry and Meghan said is true, then Lady Colin, Campbell, and Tom Bower will look like they were lying. The lawsuit would be easy to win, and Harry and Meghan would be the winners. But there is a scary part to that choice. What if the papers show something that does not match up? If the experts look at the papers and find problems, then the born of the body rule could be used to take away Archie and Lilibet's titles. No amount of TV shows or books could fix that. Option 2 is to say no and refuse to show the papers. If they do that, they are breaking the law. The judge already said they would be in contempt of court. They would have to pay about $12,400,000 in fines. And the worst part, the court would open those 4,862 secret pages anyway. There is no way to hide the secrets once the judge decides to show them. There is one very simple way to end this whole mess, but it is something Harry and Meghan might not want to do. Lady C's lawyers say they only need 4 DNA tests. It would take 1 afternoon. If the tests show that everything is normal, the whole argument ends instantly. Lady C would lose her case, Tom Bower would have to stop his work, and the Sussex family would be safe forever. But so far, Harry and Meghan have not said anything. Every minute they stay quiet, the problem gets worse. What do you think their silence means? Are they just being smart with their lawyers, or are they trying to hide something big? Tell us in the comments. While all this drama is happening with Harry and Meghan, something else is happening with Prince William and Princess Catherine. They are becoming more and more popular. They are not doing big interviews or making movies. They are just doing their jobs quietly and helping people. They are winning because they are working hard for the country. New polls show that 67% of people in England really like Prince William. This is much higher than most other royals. People are not just waiting for him to be king, they are excited about it. He is not just a sad son anymore. He is a leader who is ready to take over.